Hello, everyone. It's September 18th, 2024, and this is the Effect AI DAO call. And here's Rochelle with some updates.
Hey guys, happy to have a Dell call today, although it is very tiny with just Lenny in the audience and DJ and I on stage, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going here. Um, so yeah, we dropped a big bomb last Dell call about completely moving everything to Solana. So yes, it's awesome. I know everyone's like excited. Some people are saying finally, and then other people are like, well, what's gonna happen now? So, there's lots of questions revolving that. I think Jesse pretty much said technical wise, uh, about the move last time. So since that time, um, everyone's always wondering, the marketing. What are we going to do for the marketing for it? And you may have questions like, okay, now that we're pivoting over completely to Solana instead of just doing V2 on EOS and then working towards it, what's this mean for our marketing plan? And, those are very good questions. And that's what Jesse and I were also asking each other, last week. And we looked at our existing marketing plan and we don't need to scrap it. We're just going to modify it a little bit. Um, this will also mean new contacts and things with people who we want to reach out to help us launch the marketing plan. Um, so yeah, it's modified a little. Still gonna be good. It's just going to shift a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Jesse and I figured out, what needs to be shifted in our current marketing plan, and it's not too intensive. So that's what I will be starting up with. And then speaking of marketing, oh, Alan's in the audience. Hey, Alan. Um, you guys may notice Jesse is not on the call today. That's because he is in Singapore. Solana's having their breakpoint. There's also Token 2049, and there are a ton of side events, a ton of networking things going on. And Jesse and I were talking about how, as he's networking with all these Solana projects, he's also going to be telling people about Effect, what we're going to be doing as far as moving to Solana, and getting some networking going on for us while he's there. Um, and I have full confidence that he'll be able to get a lot of contacts for marketing wise and partnership wise and things going on with that. So I'm super excited. I can't wait for him to get back and we can go over his list of who he talked to and things, and I can get those reach outs going and continue the conversation and stuff. So pretty excited about that. So that's why he's not here today. Um yeah. What do you think, DJ?
I think it's good that Jesse is advocating for Effect AI and searching for context on the Solana chain at the conference. It's good that he's there. In fact, I remember it being a discussion point the last DAO call, too.
Yeah. Yep. Big time. So yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of people that want to talk to a certain project that's at Solana, and seeking Jesse out. So it's going to be great that he can also talk to them about us as well. Yes, Alan, that's why he is there. So he's gonna also piggyback and get us some exposure and some networking. So excited about that.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
David's
another
there too.
reason that Solana is kind of the where we Effect AI should migrate to because it just um, I guess for lack of a better term, lets us ride the coattails, really.
It's huge. It's huge, and I've already done um some outreach with a few Solana based communities that some heads of those communities that I'm close to. There's one in particular, and I already have the green light. Hey, let us put your info on our platform and get you set up in our ecosystem and stuff for effect and everything. So yes, just designing the page and working over the copy of what I want to go on it and things. Yeah. So yeah, I'm already pumped. I've already got one nailed down on my own, but that's only because of the work with the other project. So yeah, I got an in. I'm using my ins for effect as well with everything I have all my insider knowledge over on that side. I'm using for this side's benefit as well because I've made considerable contacts on my own. So yeah, exciting stuff. Um, yeah. Although I personally am gonna be out for a little bit. Um, the end of next week, I have something going on. So the whole week after, so at the first week of October, I'm going to be very limited in what I'm doing and I'll be out. But I should be
Speaking of
recovered in.
that, Rochelle,
Yes.
I was talking with Lenny. So the agenda, like, from my understanding, it's like some Google Sheet stuff, and like you push it, like you move it forward, like there's a button somewhere.
Yeah,
Do
I
I have
edited it. You
access?
want?
Do I have
I
access to
can
that?
give. I will give you access right now. I open
Yeah,
up
so
my
I could
browser here.
take on that to
Yes.
so you have less
Help
you
with
need to do at least.
that. Yes. I don't like putting crazy personal info out there, but I have been dealing with a debilitating back injury and I'm having back surgery on the 27th. So,
Oh
um,
yeah, I really hope that goes well.
thanks. It should. It should. So, I mean, I'll pop online probably a little bit to look at things here and there, because I can't not. But,
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely prioritize the rest after a big surgery like that.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I'll have a good weekend to recover. And then that first week, I know from what other people said, it's going to be kind of difficult. But then after that, I should be good. So
And I imagine I
if
think
I'm absent or slow to respond, that's because that's what I have going on. But it's temporary. So
because I know there's also a lot of physical therapy involved. My mother went through a very similar thing.
yeah, I won't be able to do that for a good 10 weeks after.
Uh-huh.
So, but that's okay. I already do physical therapy 3 times a week for the last 2 years
Hmm.
for something else. So it'll be just stuck in a on. But I need the right login.
Yeah, as
There
Lenny
we go.
mentioned, do pitch. Oh, I guess I can also pitch, but let the team know that I myself am flexible. So if there's a time that ends up being better long term, I'm open, to changing the schedule.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. We may, I don't know, maybe while the push goes over to migrate and get things going,
Because I know Lawrence has always, in the past, he mentioned that the time is bad for him. And so if there's a time, that works well for him and works well for Jesse and you, I mean, I'm
Okay,
totally fine changing the time.
that works. Maybe we'll change it up a little bit.
Aside from that, in regards to the DAO, I've executed all the ATPs. So that Twitter account that you paid for, you should have gotten the USDT for it.
Oh, cool. You know what? I forgot forgot about that. Uh,
Yeah, and also the Miguel has been sent the USDT. I guess we haven't really published the TikToks yet because I guess the things have been kind of thrown in
Yeah.
up in the air. So I do think we should start. I mean, we had a lot of good content, and Miguel is working after his work slowly on we're trying to get like something to look good. Um, but for now, I think we'll wait until we publish something before requesting more funds for that initiative.
Oh, you do have access.
Okay, so I guess you can let me know what I need to do to keep it like, because I know like basically you need to do something to move it forward to whatever time it is now. Um, because like it can have the old information on there.
Oh, yeah, I changed the date on like the second row, and then I copy over anything underneath like the little header stuff. I copied those rows over to the other tab, and then I hit delete row, because you never want to type anything on like these, like row 17 and 18. You never want to type anything there because then it messes up the form entry.
Okay. Um, is there anything else we should cover? I think it's gonna be a
Um,
light Dow call.
very light outcome. I
Oh,
I'm not
Alan is
sure. I mean,
asking how long are we looking to be ready to go? Weeks or months? I think we're waiting for the technical plan that Jesse talked about in the last Dow call.
yeah. So, right now with him in Singapore, obviously he's not gonna be working on it. Um, I imagine when he returns back from it, um, that's when we're gonna, have our team meetings and start the planning and get that going. So until that happens, I have no idea yet. Any chance being ready by March? I'm hopeful.
Oh, I think that was Jesse's timeline, but
Yeah, I mean
um,
it shouldn't be like forever at all.
yeah, like I'm
Like
hoping
the
it
previous ones.
becomes easier to accelerate development on the Solana blockchain because of all these contacts Jesse is making. I imagine people would more likely want to work on Solana than I mean using the Solana blockchain rather than EOS, which is very
Oh yeah.
obscure in these days. So hopefully we can make progress on expanding the team after they develop the plan. Um, I guess the DAO too will need to wonder if we want to change the tokenomics of things. I'm still thinking about it with nothing concrete. I wonder if we should investigate what other DAOs do, if there's anything better we can do. Um, I guess that's just something for me to do and other DAO members who are interested. Because we would probably only have one opportunity, right? Because once you set things in the contract, you can't change them easily.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my personal thoughts, like there's some Solana based DAOs, and they use like those DAO platforms for their DAOs, and those just seem easy because they're just built already, and they like plug in their stuff into it, and there's no hoops to join those types of DAOs either. It's just connecting your wallet on the platform and then doing whatever. So, um, you know,
But would they
I
be
like our
able to
DAO.
facilitate the ATP type stuff, like at the very least sending from a treasury?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking because all that stuff's already out there.
Yeah, I guess we'll need to, I guess, see what the. I know Jeffrey said that there is going to be a lot to consider when moving the DAO, which, in my opinion, should probably be done last. I guess I don't know. I'd prefer everything else be ready first. but it'll be good to have a technical paper on how a DAO would look on Solana. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I like the idea of using tools that are available, but also I'm sure the tools have their own fine print or limitations. Um, if it's just open source stuff that we can modify, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that I agree with maybe moving one thing and then another thing, because I mean, I'm not in all the technical stuff, but from the outside looking in, it seems like it's a lot of work each part. And to try to do two parts at the same time, I worry.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I don't think people would be really hyped about, another DAO on Solana, but the microtasking platform that people would be interested in.
Big
So
time. And a while ago, we were trying to partner and do something with Hive Mapper. Do you remember hearing
yeah,
about them?
I
We were
remember the
trying to get their
contact.
stop sign labeling stuff. They were on Solana.
Yeah,
And a big friction part and mostly why that kind of fell through was because it was on a different blockchain. Well, they're a big DPIN project, like the other green project. Um, and so they're in that close circle. And I still have contacts and regularly see the guys who I used to talk to at Hive Mapper from when we were trying to do something with them. Um, I'm definitely, as we are about to get back on, uh, well, not get back on, once we're, making our push onto Solana, and also even after we make the push onto Solana and stuff, hitting them back up and being like, hey, remember me? Well, now we're with with you guys on Solana. Let's get something going. So that one right there is already a warm partnership that I can try to facilitate again.
yeah, it makes me wonder if, in regards to tokenomics, people have to, as as it stands, people have to, or requesters have to use EFX to purchase work from the platform.
Hmm.
I wonder if to secure like partnership deals, the DAO could designate other acceptable tokens. Like for example, if like with Hive Mapper, they have their Hive, was it Hive token or Hiver? I forgot the name of it, but I remember playing around with it a little bit, and like you could complete those, annotation tasks and then get their token, right? So
Yeah.
if they could just, directly use the token, maybe that would help with adoption. Um, and then,
As
but
long
it could,
as
have, a bigger, fee involved. Like for example, if you're using a non-EFX token, there's like maybe a 30% fee or something like that. But like if you
yeah,
use the
it's
EFX token, it's 10%. I don't know, just something to brainstorm, I guess.
yeah, but then I wonder too, then why use our token at all? You know?
Well, the DAO if could allocate the fee into the token. So like
Yeah.
something like that maybe. All I'm saying is we should be open to thinking about, any ideas that could help with adoption. Uh, whether we want
And
to
that
just,
that would be one way to remove friction is if a project could pay with their own tokens, their own native tokens.
I think it will definitely help if they could pay with their own native tokens. Of course, we want to ensure that there's still, a tokenomic reason for why you would want EFX, and I think that would be the fee, the network fee, um, would definitely have to be higher for any non-EFX token.
Yeah.
So if people want to maximize, their savings, uh, in like bulk ordering, that would be good. But at the same time, it could help out projects whose, like for example, Hiver, like they have their token that's like the most readily accessible resource they have, right? So it would help with tasks on the platform.
But then we would also have to have a way of converting that token, into something like what's the liquidity of their token? You know,
Yeah,
could we
do you
easily
remember,
sell it so we don't get stuck with it and if it tanks? You know what I mean?
like,
There's
for
some worries with
example,
there.
with the P tokens, we created a liquidity pool with both DAOs contributing, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like that. Um, But yeah, this is just like some ideas I had that I think would be good for projects specifically about, collecting data like Hiver. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna want, this sort of thing with any random project, right? It's like would be
Yeah.
specific projects that if this could help with, like if it's on the fence and this could help, I would prefer doing this, right? Um,
But
whatever.
I'd almost make it like it has to be a large amount. Maybe they like apply and we judge if it's okay or not and go for it, Because what I would ultimately love to see is our token being bought on exchanges and DeFi platforms and stuff. That's more activity for our token. It helps strengthen it and stuff. And if we're on Solana, it's gonna be easy for someone to just swap their token to Sol and then Sol to ours.
Yeah, yeah, for me, it's really just a case of securing, I guess, partnerships and deals and
Yeah.
doing whatever methods we may have available. So we are kind of integrated into the DePIN ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd only want to allow that for like a project who has a strong token, and not like a dumb one, for lack of better words. Alan's typing something in the combo here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a token person. Yes, he's like what Rochelle's talking about.
Well,
I thought that was the reason for EFX. Agreed.
that's what I'm talking about, Alan. Currently, the tokenomics model is requesters need to buy EFX to purchase tasks to be completed by workers. The idea I brainstorm is should other projects such as Hiver, Nosana, any other AI related project be able to put out their token to purchase tasks, um, and what sort of deals could be done for them to be allowed to do that. Basically, one option is they can use their token, but there's a higher fee that goes to the DAO, and then the DAO could use it, to help EFX. Um, or alternatively, this sort of deal would require, if whoever is doing it to like make a big pool. For example, if Nosana wanted to pay with NOS, they would have to create a big liquidity pool of Nosana and EFX. So that's easy to convert. Um, uh, Basically, the reason I advocate for such or just looking into this like as an option. I'm not saying like we have to do this. Uh, just as a way to help facilitate deals with other DePIN projects, to use the microtasking platform, for workers. Maybe it will make it easier for them if they can do that. I guess this is something to ask Jesse and Lawrence as well, if this is something that could be worthwhile or not. Um, yeah, so these is just ideas I'm pondering because we have the opportunity to change the tokenomics, and we can't necessarily say that the tokenomics are ideal because we don't really know that. So it may be worth like revisiting and discussing, because we're not going to be able to change it after it's done, right? We only have really one chance to discuss this.
One is typing.
I guess it's like
Yeah.
really just like a question like if we have I think we'll always be dependent on others. Like we will be joining the DePIN ecosystem on Solana. And so I think if there's generally like a trends, right? Like we're part of a trend, whether we like it or not. And I think it's better to work with that trend, create partners, and I think I mean in some ways I think we've just been so isolated on EOS we haven't even barely been doing this, right? Um
Yeah, with trends and like others token price movement, I never really paid attention to too much of like the token prices and trends before, with EOS, but as of the last year, I've been witness to the prices going up and down with AI coins on just Solana, and seeing how um like render's price changes, and then related coins with render, their prices change too. I have seen crazy price movements with these AI coins, and things like um with things not even related to crypto, okay? Like Nvidia, when they had their financial news go this way or that way stuff, all of a sudden all of these some of these AI coins on Solana, like their prices swung over something not even crypto. So it's so volatile, and that's kind of what gives me pause if we're stuck holding another token for our
well,
stuff.
as I said, this would be token specific and the DAO would vote on it. But I think
Yeah,
the main idea here is we want to maximize tasks, right?
exactly.
And so of course, it would be ideal if all requesters had to use EFX. But if there's a requester where we gain so many tasks on our platform, increasing our adoption, having tasks alone is marketing, right? Because incentivizes people to come to the platform and complete tasks, get paid. Um,
Exactly.
so it would be better to have tasks paying in some other token with a bigger fee involved. If it means more tasks on the platform, I think it'll be better for the EFX in the long term. The last thing we don't want to like the last few years we basically had little tasks, and that always results in people losing interest. Um, uh, so but of course we want to make sure that EFX isn't forgotten about. I mean, otherwise, so a fee or some sort of deal. All these things is what I'm thinking of. Basically, we want to when I'm thinking of the tokenomics. Yeah, for example, Alan, like one way the deal could be facilitated is, for example, if Nosana wanted to have work done by Effect AI workers, they could just create a pool between the DAO and Nosana, a big, NOS EFX pool, and then Nosana just, pays in NOS rather than, using that pool, like making it too complicated. They just pay NOS to get the work done. And then any other token related to AI could do a simpler process where they have to create the pool first of maybe perhaps some sufficient size, um, and whatever they can do to maximize the tasks that can be put on the Effect AI platform, I think will be good because our so all I'm saying is we should think about tokenomics in a way that maximizes the tasks on the Effect AI platform, because I think this will be the main way Effect AI grows is actually people using it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But there's one issue that's still never gonna go away, and it is when, requesters post the tasks, they pay for them and they post them on there. Um, Crypto market prices change, but the task is already earmarked, each task pays this many in tokens, and say that the price goes different, way different, either up or down. There's no dynamic and real-time way to change the price or the payout of a task.
Oh,
You know
that
what I
was on
mean?
EOS,
When
right?
yeah, and it was on EOS, and that aspect is gonna be no different on Solana.
You don't think so?
No, 'cause I see it happen already on something else. There's nope.
Well, strictly speaking, when the worker sees the price, it is at that moment in time. So, the question is, will they also be paid right away like before? I remember in the past there was discussion about holding it to ensure, data validity. Um, so that can cause the issues. Um, I think, well, as you mentioned, we could also facilitate stablecoin payments with a bigger fee involved, and then have that fee, put into EFX or something. Um,
Yeah, something. But but yeah, the only other thing I could think of is oh no, that only work. Yeah, there's a lot of variables still and things that need worked out with validation, with reputation, a lot of things because it was a little tricky enough to do already on EOS mainnet and have it for V2. And a lot of my concerns and stuff with that also will reflect over on the Solana side as well. They don't. Alan asked, "How do other people deal with this problem?" They don't. I've seen a couple different projects on Solana get hit with, I'd call it malicious workers, spoof workers, things, and it's really hard to combat in real time. It's almost like there has to be a buffer zone. There has to be a delay of when a worker submits work to when they get paid out, and only in that delay can you do validation. So then it becomes a question of, okay, with an open system, a non-centralized work platform, the requester can always the requester's always responsible to do their own validation. And I think they do need a 3-day buffer time to validate their own stuff. Um, or I think one thing for the way for Effect DAO to make money is to have a validation service built into our work
well,
platform
I think I
where
talked
we
about this.
validate their work for them in that 3-day time, and then being able to blacklist, some worker wallets who provided the bad work, and stuff. There's ways for the DAO to make money as far as validation, but always there should always be a way for the requester to handle it on their own.
Yeah,
But
the
with
I was thinking I had this conversation a while ago. I don't know if you remember it, but that entire process of validation, um, basically, with the doubt, what you're talking about, that would be like workers validating other workers, except we just trust those workers, right?
kind of
And so the idea I had, basically, the way I'm looking things, basically, what we need, and I would like to talk about Jesse about this next time, is we have the requesters and we have the workers, but I think there needs to be a third group, and you could call this something like managers, and that's what you're doing right now, right? With the the beta, right? You manage a set of workers, right? And you make sure they're doing work properly, right? And if a worker, does bad work, you delist them, like you blacklist them from this group, right?
Yeah.
So in a sense, you're like the manager of a group of workers. So the idea I'm thinking of to be decentralized, but also to incentivize good work, there should be able to be managers who get a cut of the EFX that workers make. But in exchange for getting this cut, they're responsible for making sure the workers set valuable data. Otherwise, they could like get punished for it or something like that. Like, I don't
Yes.
know the exact like best way to do it, like off the top of my head, but like having like crypto is all about creating incentives for people to do something in a decentralized way. And so we need to create an incentive for validation to be done rather than having the DAO have to take its own initiative. I mean, which we will, like with your initiative at the start, but like there needs to be incentive. So in the future, if someone was like, you know what, I could manage a workforce myself and I'd earn EFX doing that. And so, like, they would have the incentives to do such a thing. And eventually, the system, builds upon itself and the DAO doesn't have to do the specific nitty gritty of validation, just, kind of more the observing, making sure nothing, goes spectacularly wrong or something.
Yes, we're thinking of the same thing, but mine plan has always just been kind of a higher level than that. When I say the DAO, I mean that okay, you know how the DAO governs the effect network, right?
Yeah.
Well, part of governing the effect network is governing the platform. And so my vision is that the DAO is the independent party between the worker and the requester. Okay. And so the DAO's the independent party between it. And within the DAO, there's the validation part, not just the governing with proposals and stuff. Part of the DAO is also the validation part where anybody can join in on the validation stuff. Um, there would be requirements I would want in there, like for one, for me, I think workers to be a validator on effect force in the platform, you'd have to for one be a worker yourself, okay? With some experience as a worker on the platform. Um there would have to be ways to report bad workers, and then there would be people in that validation thing who would be um decentrally chosen, okay, democratically chosen to be part of the part that looks at both worker behavior and requester behavior, um and make those determinations in a democratic way to blacklist certain wallets, for workers and requesters. um
Well,
it's kind of like a merge in between. I think it it would be a way because any worker can join the DAO. I would strongly encourage any worker to join the DAO, but I think the DAO will take on many facets. One would be, governing the network with the proposals and how things work and the mechanisms and how payouts are done, things like that. And then there would be the validation part of the DAO. And in the beginning, the DAO would some people from the DAO would be in this. And of course, if you're in the validation part, you are getting compensated because when you look at something to judge if a worker did it right, you're essentially doing that task for yourself as well. So, um yeah, it's that would be a compensated part.
yeah,
It's do
it makes
it's
us
hard
think.
for me to explain. I have it all scribbled out on this huge map. But
Yeah, the
yeah.
worker blacklisting wallets would isn't really that helpful if it's really easy to make a wallet, right?
Exactly.
So we basically need to create a trust system, which I think was actually envisioned in the original white paper. I forget. But
Yeah,
being part of the DAO and participating, voting, I think will definitely should, improve whatever trust score that is calculated for a worker, because it means they didn't just suddenly whip something up. Like, for example, if they've been voting on the DAO for like, months, that means they didn't suddenly whip up their wallet, right? The age isn't new. So
yeah.
that could be like a
And
good way.
Jesse has some really cool things with um proving identity um with blockchain. He confused me with part of it um because it got way technical quickly. But there's some mechanisms we he wants to involve with, with worker accounts with like the provable ID and things like that. So I mean, still the platform will be like a requester can just put up whatever they want and let anyone work on it no matter what. Um, or they could choose from a pool of certain worker wallets that we know are good and are validated and have a good history of and stuff. And it's just on the worker to keep doing good work to be kind of included in that. Um, but still, there's going to be a lot of um education and outreach I'm going to be doing with the requesters that come onto the platform. Look, this is how you can ensure you have good results. You can do these things, and that will have tons of guides and how to's and documentation out there that requesters can use and help guide them through you know things they can do on their own to get like the best data. Or I think in terms of revenue streams for the DAO and for uh, the project itself, things they can both offer to requesters as streams of revenue that just make it just fine. The requester's like, fine, I don't want to deal with that. I just want this, and I want this back, and I don't care if I pay extra to get this done. You know, um, there's a lot of different avenues that we can have available for these requesters.
All right. We're at the 11 a.m. mark, so I think we had enough tokenomics, brainstorming. I guess the DAO call ended up being longer, but yeah, I would like. I guess I'll relay myself as well to Jesse and Jeffrey, and you should do too. That in this time of technical paper drafting and migration brainstorming, it will be good for all the tokenomics to be discussed, in DAO calls,
Mhm.
and all DAO members, have a chance to participate and making their ideas known and what their preferences, because I think it will be good to have everyone on board with how we're gonna do things on Solana.
Yeah.